So here we got a super cool and interesting and different guitar. It's a 1228 Modern Deluxe parlor style guitar, and I believe it's new. This is a very new thing for Martin, something they just created. The first thing I noticed on this guitar is the resonance on it. When I just played that last note, it feels like it sustains forever. Like it'll just keep going. Probably keep going for another 30 seconds. That's crazy. Parlor guitars I've played in the past are generally darker sounding, deader sounding even. But this is almost the opposite of that. It sounds very full of life. If you're using this guitar acoustically, it's gonna speak a lot further than any of the other guitars we have there. Again, it has some great top end to it, but it's almost like it's supported by mid and the bottom range. So the top end doesn't necessarily stand out too much. It's bright, but it's kind of supported by, you got both posts, right? You have the low end, kind of the low mids. And I can feel this, as I'm playing it, I can literally feel the guitar resonating like way more than any of the other guitars, which is just wild. I love the design of it. It kind of has a bit more of the classical look up here, right? Where the tuners are actually inside of the guitar head, which is pretty cool. As I play it quieter, I think this guitar is really nice for finger picking. Again, because it has some great volume to it. So, get a lot of volume out of a little bit of playing. This guitar has 12 frets up into the body. Again, because it's a parlor style, right? So it's a little small, a little shorter. I see no problem in that with the guitar. That's great. Standard in what you would find a parlor guitar. This front inlay is really, really beautiful there, and also around the sound hole. It doesn't have a pickguard on it, but it doesn't need it. It looks so classic as it is. I love the look of the guitar. Another cool thing I've noticed on this, the pegs for the strings have these cool red dots in it, so it adds a little bit of color, a little bit of pop to the front of the guitar. The depth of the body on this guitar is a bit different, also a bit thicker than the last guitars, and it has a slight taper in it. Again, it has to do with the way they designed the sound, and it works perfectly. So this guitar is a bit higher priced than the last few that we talked about, right? So this is more in the $4,000 range. I can see why it is in that range, because I'm sure whatever they did to develop this guitar, to make this guitar, they're putting a lot of money into making and creating an instrument that does what this guitar does. So price point absolutely makes sense. As a pro player, as someone who has maybe far too many guitars in my collection, this is still one I would love to add to it, because it feels different than any guitar I have. It's kind of like its own island, even from the last 3 guitars I played, both in the way it plays, the sound that it has. It's probably just the diverse. It feels very diverse. I feel like I could play, something more bluesy, kind of Civil Wars vibe on this kind of guitar that's more, finger picking and minery. I feel like I could play something upbeat and fun. It still has that brightness to it, has that volume to it. When you play it loud with the pick, it makes me want to bend. It makes me want to do a little bit of bendy it feels rock and roll to me. That's what this guitar feels like, in the coolest way. Yeah, that's wild. And the electronics on this one. So this one that I'm playing does not have electronics in it, but it has options. If you are to buy it from Martin new, you can always ask them to put in whatever kind of pickup. They offer several different styles of pickups, so you can talk to them about which pickup you like in it. Or if you're not going to use it electronically, you can get it and acoustically. Like I said before, it speaks so well. It doesn't need electronics necessarily if you're in that kind of setting. So this guitar is a modern take, using modern technology on guitars from the 40s. We have, the back and the sides are the East Indian rosewood. The front is spruce. We got ebony, for the bridge and for the fretboard. And I kind of mentioned earlier the really cool look. I love this look on a guitar. It feels a bit like a classical guitar, kind of having the tuners inside the actual head. The back actually has some really, really cool inlay. Just a beautiful, very unique style of inlay. This guitar would be ideal, right? In a group setting, you know, it's a parlor guitar, so played in a basement, in a parlor, in a group setting where there's a lot of people. You don't necessarily have a way to amplify the sound, but you want to be heard. I would absolutely love to play this on stage in a worship set. 95% of it for me is because of the sound, but 5% is because of the look. It's a super cool look too. It feels a little bit iconic, and I don't know, as a musician, sometimes you want to just be different from people, right? So I don't know why, but this feels special. It's different. I would love to get a pickup installed in this and play it live, whether it's an arena or a small church. I feel like this guitar would do really well, speak really well. I could wear something throwback too, you know, something maybe from the 70s. Feels like it embodies a lot of eras, because it kind of does. Like, you know, we were talking about earlier, it's from the style from the 40s, and it's a modern take on it. So yeah, I would buy this guitar for myself. If I was buying it for someone, dang it. If I had to buy it for someone else, I'd probably Zach Williams, I think. I think Zach would love this guitar. It feels, again, it's kind of like rock and roll. Feels kind of a little bit gritty in that cool way.